This is a breaking news special report.
Big developing story this morning. According to the Associated Press, Donald Trump has been elected the 47th president of the United States. With a win in Wisconsin, Trump clears the 270 electoral votes needed to clinch the presidency. Trump is the first former president to return to power since Grover Cleveland regained the White House in the 1892 election.
Yeah, very historic for that. According to the Associated Press, we do have the numbers for you on screen here live. These are live numbers that we are seeing right now for that race. You can see Donald Trump has 277 electoral votes. Kamala Harris has 224.
Also, according to the Associated Press, Republicans have won control of the Senate. Republicans have 51 seats in the chamber. The last time the Republican Party took control of the Senate was 2021. Good morning on this day after the election. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Jess Abrahamson.
And I'm Kelsey Marrier. Good morning. It has been a long and historic night all the way into the morning hours, and we are making sure that you have everything you need to know, all the latest results on a national and a local level. So we are bringing you team coverage this morning. We have our Aaliyah Demery, who is live in Rochester. She's really covering and breaking down the results of the Rochester Public Schools referendum. Also, our Charles Kelly is in studio, kind of breaking down some of our other local races this morning.
Yeah, so let's start with what Aaliyah is covering this morning, the long-awaited decision of the Rochester Public Schools Ignite Student Learning Referendum. The results of that vote officially coming in early this morning. Voters are saying yes to this. Our Aaliyah Demery is joining us live outside of the Edison Building in Rochester to break down what the future of the district now looks like with this yes vote. Good morning.
Good morning, Jess and Kelsey. This was a top question on the ballot impacting the entire community, but the school district's problems may be solved with this new funding. RPS asks voters for nearly $200 million over 10 years to help cover the district's general expenses. The results show 57% as yes at 100% of the vote reporting. One of the biggest issues the referendum addresses is stabilizing the district's budget. The money will enhance curriculum, classroom needs, and technology improvements. On Election Day, KTTC met and spoke with Rochester voters. Some say RPS students are the future of the community and that they need support for their success. According to a head election judge working at Overland Elementary, he does not have any children but feels strongly that their futures need to be invested in. With this
Children are the future, and we should take care of those who choose to have children. Children don't decide whether or not to be born. They are born, and it's my duty, I believe, to give them the best future possible. So when it comes to funding our schools or free lunch programs for the students, I am all in favor of that, even if it doesn't benefit me personally.
With this referendum being approved, the district avoided more than $16 million in budget cuts. As for homeowners across Rochester, you will see an increase in your annual property taxes. For example, a home value of $325,000, you would pay about $29 a month. Reporting in Rochester, Aaliyah Demery, back to you.
All right, yeah, a lot of information there, Aaliyah, but a lot of important information for viewers that affects everybody here in the Rochester community. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to take a break now from election coverage to bring you what the weather is like on our Wednesday, the day after the election, which turned out to be quite a rainy and wet one.
Very damp at the very least, but wet for especially the morning. It was rather soggy. Almost half an inch of rain in Rochester. We had 4,400s officially at the airport. Total for the past few days, only almost an inch of rain so far in Rochester this month of November. A lot of that in just the past 2 days. But today, a rain-free sky as we look live outside. Low clouds, you certainly can see those showing up prominently in the pre-dawn sky as the street lights below illuminate those low stratus clouds. That's the current scene from our Lewiston auto camera. No fog concerns here in Rochester, but certainly that is a concern to our west. Look at these numbers on the visibility map. This is how dense the fog is. The visibility now only a quarter mile in Austin, less than a quarter of a mile in Owatonna, and Albert Lee and Mankato also a quarter mile. So some thick fog going on. Those areas all in the dense fog advisory starting, well, we're going on now all the way until 10 o'clock this morning. Areas to the east not concerned about the fog. We have clouds holding on now. There are going to be some sizable gaps developing in the clouds late this morning into the afternoon. Once that fog lifts and the skies clear off, we'll enjoy a fair amount of sunshine. 40 right now at the studio. The winds have been light, steady temperatures all night and haven't changed in several hours. It feels like 37 right now. On the map, 30s in most spots. Rochester 38, it's 39 in Osage, and 32 in Mankato and in Blue Earth. Clouds at first, then some sunshine, a light breeze, not much wind at all today, and no rain concerns, so some improvement from yesterday. Overall high temperature of 49 later today for our Wednesday.
Not too bad at all, and good to see some sun later.
Has some sun, that's right.
That will be welcome. Thank you, Ted. Let's get back to election coverage. The city of Austin had a big night with races for city council and mayor.
Yeah, big races at that. Our Charles Kelly is joining us in the studio now to kind of take a look and break down all of the results there. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning, Jess and Kelsey. Voters in Austin really showed up at the polls this election. Let's start off this morning with the results with mayor. Incumbent Steve King ran against challenger Bradley Johnson. King also previously served on city council before becoming mayor. Johnson has been involved with multiple civic organizations, and here voters said yes to Steve King. Now to Ward 1 seat for Austin City Council, Rebecca Waller, who has previously served on council, ran against Miguel Garate. Here you can see that Rebecca was voted in. Looking to Ward 3 now, incumbent council member Paul Fisher seeking re-election. His challenger, Brian Prentice. As you can see, Paul Fisher won. And we did speak with both of the winners for Wards 1 and 3, and here's what the two had to say.
I really appreciate your vote. I really appreciate your support. And then I'm here for you. Reach out to me. Let me know what's on your mind. Let me know what I can do for you. That's the reason I'm here. It's not for myself. It's for the city. It's for the people. I want to be here to help, and I want to be their voice. Thank you to those who voted for me and put their faith and trust in me for another 4 years to help the community of Austin grow, be safer, just be a good community, and I enjoy being a part of that.
We did reach out to both Garate and Prentice, the candidates that lost before the results came in. Garate did respond, but we were not able to schedule an interview. And as of now, we have not received a response from Prentice, but we plan to reach back out now that the results are in. A poll worker at the Mower County Senior Citizen Center says the site saw more than 80 first-time voters. Our crew also spoke to several voters, including a first-timer.
It was more so the national level. I feel especially during this election, a lot of people really feel strongly between the two candidates. But I also did my research on the local level with the two mayors running, and I even met up with a couple of them. So it was more so a mixture of everything.
Election judges at Austin City Hall say they saw a steady stream of voters throughout the day, adding how the site was seeing 60 to 70 voters per hour. We will have more election results throughout the morning, and you can see the full results on our website. Reporting live in studio, I'm Charles Kelly. Back to you.
Thank you, Charles. It is 6:08, still to come. Guess what? More election coverage.
A lot of names and numbers to get to this morning. Plus, we do have an update in a Fillmore County Amish buggy crash involving a woman from Spring Valley.
Cloudy and cool start the day at the bus stop this morning, but no rain gear needed. The rain is out of the picture today and actually will stay out of the picture for a couple of days. As you look at your bus stop forecast, clouds at first, temperatures in the upper 30s, on the way to 49 with some afternoon sunshine, but a very light breeze on a peaceful Wednesday. We'll talk more about some slightly warmer weather and more sun in our first alert forecast coming up.
And now, your First Alert forecast.
Have a gray start to the day, but eventually the sunshine will return, and we're looking at the possibility of not just that, but a little boost in temperatures compared to certainly some of the cool, breezy, damp gloom we experienced on Election Day. Yeah, an improvement. But we do have the clouds holding on right now, at least for the time being. I think they'll be with us for a big part of the morning, but we do have the prospect of maybe something a little brighter later on. That's the current view with our Louis Tadaudo camera. This is from Assisi Heights in Rochester. You can see the low clouds really showing up prominently outside. At least you can see the horizon. That's not the case to the west, where there is some thick fog. Austin now has seen the visibility drop to a quarter of a mile, and the areas west of there all really uniformly, particularly foggy at this hour. Less than a quarter of a mile of the visibility in Owatonna, Albert Lee, and Mankato agreeing at a quarter of a mile. That's pretty thick fog, and that's going to be the case for a few more hours. All the way until 10 o'clock, there is a dense fog advisory from the National Weather Service. That goes on for everything from along and west of Interstate 35. You see that in the map right now. To the east, not so much a concern, so the clouds are holding on. Without the cloud cover, though, to the west, with some of those gaps developing at times, there has been a little bit of that radiative cooling, and that allows temperatures to drop to the dew point level. There you get the saturation and thus the fog. But under high pressure, skies will slowly clear, the fog will lift, and we'll enjoy some sunshine later on. Right now it's 38 in Rochester, Austin 37, Mason City 38, and a little colder to the west. Mankato and Blue Earth 32 with some thick fog and chilly temperatures. Patchy fog, some sun, some clouds today, increasing sunshine the next couple of days, and there is some weekend rain ahead of us, at least for part of the weekend. Right now, future track looking at readings mostly in the 30s. To the west, you see some of those low 30s and some gaps in the clouds. Moving in the midday hours, a couple of peaks of sunshine, then extra sun in the afternoon hours. Temperatures upper 40s to around 50 with a very light breeze. Temperatures in the 30s tonight, and then tomorrow, a lot of sun. Light winds, temperatures in the low 50s. It'll be even warmer with extra sunshine on Friday, mid-50s. That'll be the warmest day of the week, or one of the most pleasant days, shall we say, of the week. Rain over the weekend, Saturday afternoon, and especially the first part of Sunday before we dry out early next week. Deficit for the season, 3.5 inches. But for the year, a 2-inch surplus here in Rochester. And for the month, actually, we have a surplus now that we have almost an inch in the rain gauge, 0.6 of an inch above average. No rain today, though. Clouds, then some sunshine. Temperatures upper 40s this afternoon. That's actually typical for early to mid-November. Tonight, mid-30s with partly cloudy skies and a light breeze. And as we look ahead at your Mason City and Austin 7-day forecast, sunshine for a couple of days, then rain over the weekend. And right back to the sun next week after the weekend. How ironic is that? But that's the way it goes sometimes in November. You can't pick and choose your weather. Unfortunately, we have rain this weekend here in Rochester too, but surrounded by the abundance of sunshine and a lot of 50s. Keeping in mind, upper 40s would be along the lines of the seasonal average this time of the year. So a lot of things to look forward to.
Okay, yeah, the sunshine is definitely, I think, welcome by many people after kind of a wet and soggy day yesterday.
Yes, I think so.
All right, it's going to feel nice. Thank you. We do have a quick update to a story we have been following. A woman has pleaded guilty in Fillmore County Court on charges related to a February crash involving an Amish buggy. Brittany Edgar of Spring Valley pleading guilty to 1 felony count of criminal vehicular operation. She originally faced 6 charges in connection to that crash, including criminal vehicular operation, leaving the scene of a collision, driving carelessly, and giving false information to an officer. 6 people were hospitalized in that buggy crash. Edgar is expected to be sentenced in December. All morning long, we have been following several school district referendums and their results that have been on the ballot across southern Minnesota.
To Dover Iota now, where the district had a 10-year, nearly $11 million operating referendum on the ballot. Voters there saying no with 64% of votes saying no to that question. We go to Fillmore Central School District, which serves communities of Harmony, Fountain, and Preston. The district also seeking additional taxpayer support through an operating referendum. This also fails with 58% of the votes saying no.
To the city of Elgin now, a referendum there was for the construction of a new emergency services facility in the amount of $4.5 million. As you can see, 53% of the people there voting no for that. And a referendum on the ballot for all of Winona County voters. This question for the creation of a quarter-cent sales tax to cover the cost of the county's new jail. Currently, it is being funded through property taxes. Only 80% of precincts are reporting this. So far, you can see 53% voted yes and 47% have voted no.
Statewide, let's look at a constitutional amendment on the ballot in Minnesota. This would continue a years-old program that allocates funding from the Minnesota Lottery to the state's Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund. Voters in Minnesota overwhelmingly saying yes to this, with 78% of the vote. Across state lines in Iowa, multiple constitutional amendments on the ballot there. Question 1, looking to prohibit non-citizens from voting and modifying the voting age. And the results to that are yes. In Iowa, 76% of voters saying yes so far. We are still waiting for all of the precincts to report in Iowa.
And lastly, an amendment question 2 in Iowa looks to create procedures for filling vacancies in top offices. This would allow a lieutenant governor who rises to the position of governor to then appoint a new lieutenant governor. 93% of voters, or precincts rather, reporting in this. Right now, it is looking that the yes vote is seeing 81%, likely the result of that amendment question. It is 6:18. Of course, it's a big day. We have a lot of election coverage to get to you, but local communities are looking to the future now with those races. We're going to share more of them when we come back.
KTTC.
We appreciate you sticking with us, or if you're just joining us, good morning on this day after the election. We are bringing you the latest referendum results all throughout the region of southern Minnesota.
Voters in the Mankato Area School District have decided who will fill the 4 seats on the Mankato School Board. Of the 7 candidates in the race, Christopher Kine came out with the most, nearly 15,000 votes. There will be multiple school referendums on the ballot in several southern Minnesota communities. Starting things off in the Lake Crystal Welcome Memorial District, voters there have approved their referendum by a vote of 55%. A yes vote for the referendum would authorize the school district to issue building bonds with a maximum amount of $6.5 million. School officials would use that funding to improve school facilities. Voters living in the Mountain Lake School District have passed their referendum. The school board asking voters to accept its proposal of an increase toward its general education revenue by $590 per student. The referendum will be applicable for 10 years with taxes beginning next year and increase each year following based on inflation. We're going to turn now to the city of Cleveland. Residents in that district voting no on their referendum. The failed school district proposal was asking for an increase to their general education revenue by $750 per student.
A similar question was also proposed to residents in the Comfrey School District. Voters there passing the referendum, as you see on your screen. It asked for an increase to the school board's general education revenue by $700 per student. The authorization would also be applicable for the next 10 years starting in 2025. In Windham, voters have said no to a referendum for a sales tax in the city. The results were tight, though, as you see here. Voters were asked to vote on a temporary 1% local sales tax for a period of 10 years or until $5 million has been generated. The money would have helped fund infrastructure projects to help mitigate future flooding, including but not limited to construction of a permanent dike in the Island Park and other streets and stormwater improvements there. Voters in Mountain Lake have voted yes to a referendum asking if the city council should be allowed to issue on-sale licenses to hospitality businesses. That includes restaurants, clubs, bowling centers, and hotels. With this yes vote, those businesses will now be able to sell alcoholic beverages on Sunday. In a flip for Minnesota House Republicans, challenger Erica Schwartz has unseated the incumbent state representative Jeff Brand for District 18A. The tight race ended with Schwartz coming out on top with 51% of the vote. The win for Schwartz helps the Republican Party chisel away at the DFL's slight majority in the state house. District 18A includes Nicollet County and a small portion of Blue Earth and Le Sueur counties.
A cool but dry day for a dog walk. No rain concerns today. You don't need the rain gear. Here's Kirby from Potsdam, just northeast of Rochester here in Olmsted County. Kirby hanging out in the leaves, ready for a walk on a day that'll feature clouds, then at least some sunshine and not much wind. Temperatures starting off in the upper 30s. For a high temperature in the upper 40s later today. So kind of a cool but typical November day, and no rain gear, just maybe a light jacket and a nice long walk on a very peaceful Wednesday.
Yeah, Kirby looks pretty comfortable and nestled up in all those fall leaves.
Absolutely. Kind of blends in with
the
colors too.
What a cutie. Thank you. It is 6:25. This election season, the future of Rochester Public Schools was on the line.
When we return, we're going to get a live report on the results of that $200 million referendum ask. We'll be right back.
This is a breaking news special report.
Good morning on this Wednesday. Here is our breaking news as we get our Wednesday started. According to the Associated Press, Donald Trump has been elected the 47th president of the United States. That coming in just a few hours ago with a win in Wisconsin. Trump was able to clear the 270 electoral votes needed to clinch the presidency. This is historic because Trump really is the first former president to return to power since Grover Cleveland regained the White House. That was back in the 1892 election. According to the Associated Press, we are showing you the up-to-date live numbers this